All right, today we're just going to talk about a few basics and how we go about putting together programs, how we train people, and all the components. On the health and wellness spectrum, whether you look at CrossFit's template, West Side barbells, bodybuilders, Olympic lifters, professional athletes, they'll agree that by and large, this basic ugly triangle that I drew is the basics for how we go about getting people better physically. Now, I should say, before all this even starts, 2/3 of your success will be how you eat. You cannot outwork a bad diet. Okay, so 2/3, if you want to be leaner, thinner, faster, stronger, you have to eat correctly. So 2/3. So imagine this triangle, 2/3 of it is your food. The rest is everything else. But in terms of actually doing the physical work, we're using just this triangle for all the other components. One, can you move correctly? Can you walk correctly? If you can walk correctly, they're not going to have you walking a little bit faster. So the absolute basics, can you do some of the basic movements correctly? Then can you get in shape? General physical preparedness. Can we get you in shape where you can handle your body weight, handle a little bit of load, where you're not exhausted after just 2 or 3 minutes? If you can get you in shape, can we have you do some other higher level gymnastics? Push-ups, pull-ups, dips, handstand holds. Can you handle your own body weight correctly? Even the burpee, one of the most basic gymnastic movements, gets broken down so poorly with people overextending in their low back. So can you do the gymnastics correctly? Then if you can move your body correctly, then we can start getting you stronger. Once you're stronger, then we can get you more powerful and faster. And at the top of the pyramid is your actual specific sport. In the CrossFit world, all of this is your sport, but a lot of people use CrossFit to augment or improve other sports, whether it's their running, overall lifting. Strongmen will use CrossFit for their conditioning. So at the top is your sport. And on a relative basis, it needs to be, if everything else is similar in capacity, it needs to be in this same proportion. That part is critical. All right, so if you're in good shape, then you can start working more on moving correctly in a higher level gymnastics. If you move correctly in a higher level gymnastics, then we can spend more time on getting you stronger. If you are strong, then we can spend more time on getting you faster. All right, here's an example. I love Keith Parker to death. He married my wife and me together, so he's been a member for a long time. Great guy, great person. He came to us many years ago with a great strong tennis background and distance running. His cardio, his general physical preparedness, through the roof. So if I gave him anything to do, he recovered quickly. On a relative basis, he had not done much in terms of higher level gymnastics or building a lot of strength. Power and speed was there from some things with tennis, but the overall sport, he was great at tennis, but overall his overall capacity was what was completely out of proportion in a good way. Great shape, right? So when I wanted to get him stronger, super easy. If I give him some accessories, say 4 sets of 10 of dumbbell bench press, well, after a set of 10, he recovers in like 20, 30 seconds because his cardio capacity was great. So 4 sets of 10 didn't take him very long. He wasn't lifting a whole bunch, but I can give him another 4 sets of 10 of something else that was complementary. 4 more sets of 10 as an example. I give him so many sets of accessories, he recovered so much that he could then build his strength very, very quickly because he recovered, because his base was so big. Once I got him stronger, then I can get him more and more powerful. Look at here's another example. The Russians, here's how they would go about their weightlifting. Show them the technique, make sure they're moving correctly, get them in shape. Some gymnastics, but with them was barbell work, just basic snatch and clean and press technique with just the bar. Get proficient in just the technique, and then stop pretty much Olympic lifting and spend a ton of time, 2, 3, 4 years just on strength. 500, 600, 700 front squat. That heavy of a front squat, how easy is it to clean and stand up with the weight then? Well, the front squat's so strong, all you have to do is get the bar there. So then they spend the rest of their time on their speed and their sport, and that's how they went about competing in Olympic lifting, and they're champions year after year. As an extreme example, look at the Bulgarians. What would they do? 3 times a day they would lift, morning, afternoon, evening. Main 5-6 lifts, clean and press, snatch, squat, bench, overhead press, deadlift, pull-ups. Work up to a max every day. So they're getting stronger all the time, every day, 3 times a day, maxing out 3 times a day. Work on their speed all the time, 3 times a day. They then became the best at what they did. Problem was life expectancy in their sport. They're done by 22, 23, 24, 25 years old, they're done. They can't handle that kind of load 3 times a day, all right? What we try to do here when we're teaching our CrossFitters how to get better, we get them moving correctly, we get them in shape, moving better at gymnastics. If everything else is the same, we want to be programming and operating in this world, spending this percentage of time on strength, this percentage of time on power and speed, and this percentage of time on the actual specific sports stuff, like double unders, okay? If something is completely disproportionate, it's super easy to bring that up based on the base of the triangle. If you want everything to be better in all components, you have no option other than making a bigger triangle. What it took to squat 200, it'll take more to squat 3. What it took to squat 3, it'll take more to squat 4. If you ran a 5-5-40, it'll take more work to run a 5-0-40. And then a 4-5-40, it takes more work. You need a bigger triangle. There's no way around it. So if you've been coming here for 3 years, you look the way you do, you're well-rounded, you want to make some other changes, guess what? It takes more than what you're doing. You come and train 5 hours a week, it's going to take probably 7, or some changes in your nutrition, okay? There's some other bad examples. I always love when I talk to other out-of-towners from other CrossFit gyms about their Olympic lifting. And I'll say, how's that going? Because it's usually their favorite thing. And they say, well, I seem to work on my cleans more. And I say, okay, give me an example. What do you clean? And the guy might say, I clean 225. That's great. And I'll say, well, what do you front squat? And I'll say, I'm right around, 205, maybe 210. Great. Then I'll say, what do you need to work on? He goes, I really need to work on my clean technique. Right? No. You're within 10%. What is that? 90% efficiency, right? So you're going to squeeze the last 10% out on just on technique? Why not get a 315 front squat? 90% of that, roughly 275. Right? Brian Shaw, strongest guy in the world, horrible clean technique. It literally looks like this. Okay? Reverse curl. This slow. No squatting. What's he do? 330, 350. Like this. Terrible. How is that possible? Why? He deadlifts 1,000. It's a third. What's a third of your deadlift? You can clean that all day long, right? So if you want to have bigger numbers here, get bigger numbers here. Move better here. Get in good shape so you can handle more volume, okay? If you look at other sport-specific folks, I always like to pick on the baseball kids because those poor kids are, they're playing 10, 11, 12 months a year. What does their triangle look like? This is their triangle. It's everyone's triangle. Their triangle looks like this, where all their sport is here, right? Spend all their time. And I always hear, well, I'm doing this and I'm playing this other sport. I got no time to get to the gym. I have no time to get stronger. Okay, well, you have no time to fix your injuries until you do later. So they'll have these poor kids and they're playing 10, 11, 12 months a year. They're 9, 10, 11 years old, not getting stronger. They can't hit the ball out of the infield. They're all throwing all this high-level gymnastics, which is your body weight. And they're wondering why they're burned out up top, but also all these shoulder, elbow injuries. There's no upper back work. There's no strength work on their scapula to hold things tight, right? Never happens. I'm like, why? Why are you guys doing that? Well, it's what the coach says. Well, the coaches don't know those things, but we are here to help educate, which might take a few iterations, but we'll give it our best shot. I got this one kid that comes here, poor thing. He's a pitcher. When he's not pitching, what's he allowed to do? He plays catcher. More throwing. Don't worry, they give him a break. They'll put him at center field and at third base. The 2 longest throws other than all the other volume from the battery, pitcher and catcher. He's a big kid at 14. He's like 210 pounds and 6 foot, but all that volume, like, this is going to tear up his shoulder. So you can't break the triangle and do well permanently. At some point, you're going to get beat. Okay? If there's a piece when you show up, you start coming here, and it's missing, like you've never done gymnastics, you can make big progress here. People that come here, every time they touch a barbell, they're going to have PRs week after week because they haven't done it. If you've never lifted, it's easier PR here. If you're a kid and you have never done speed work, well, it's easy to get that low-hanging fruit and PR there for a while. But at some point, you're going to plateau out. You're going to plateau out, and you need to add more volume because it takes more. And once you get the triangle bigger, everything goes up. Once you're out of whack and out of proportion, you can't progress, and you're looking at injury. You follow the basics. These aren't mine. These are the rest of the world. If you follow the laws of nature, you will be fine. You break the laws, you will be in big trouble. And that is today's lesson.